Oh no. Hi, you guys. I did not know you could have a filter on a live. And this is completely unexpected. Hello. I don't know why this filter is here. Um, I'm going to see if I can make it go away. Okay, I made it go away. That was weird. I had no idea you could do a filter on a live. Um, Okay, well, hello. So I have my phone hooked up to my computer and it's filming on QuickTime. So this is wildly exciting and new for me. I'm going to um, I'm going to try to keep today short for a couple reasons. I'm so confused right now. My phone says 9:41. I don't know. Sorry, that was a distraction. I don't understand why that's the case right now. Hello. So I'm going to try to keep it shorter than normal. I made myself a little note to try to stay on task to talk to you guys about the stuff that I have on my mind. And then also because if this is very long, I don't know if I'll be able to upload it to YouTube. I don't know. I'm just going to try it and see. And yeah, go from there. So, hi. So last week I made a fishtail and I put the phone to where you could watch me make the fishtail. Did anybody see that? It was really wonky um, because the way I had to set the phone, it was upside down. And then I just talked in the background the whole time about who knows what, which is kind of just what I normally do. Hello, you guys. Um, but what I babbled on about for a while was why I changed the name from this space, this live that we're doing. I called it Coffee with JL before, and now I changed it to Candid with JL. And it's and I'm going to tell you why. I don't know. I get lost in my thoughts, and then that's how I end up not telling you anything. Hello, Danielle. Anyway, so um, I got cut off, and then I wasn't even able to tell you why. Well, the first reason is because it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon and I'm not having coffee. I didn't really have coffee that much anyway on these. And so even though the idea was nice because I like to have coffee with friends and chit chat, and so that was kind of the idea behind these lives, I just didn't, it feels weird not having coffee and calling it Coffee with JL. So I wanted to change it. Somebody, maybe Brittany, had mentioned naming it Live with JL, and then I liked that, but I mean, if Instagram lives go away and then I'm still doing something like this on YouTube, or I don't know, I don't think I liked it a lot. But I kind of, hi Karen, I kind of, as soon as I thought, which of course this is backwards because of the lens I'm using, um, when Candid with JL came to mind, I was like, yes. So candid means, frank, truthful, whatever. I said the definition, the exact definition last week, but it's something like that. Hi, Becky. And, but so what, I've been carrying this card around in my wallet for 7 years, and I'm going to read to you. So this is my very first Pretty Bras for Nursing Moms LLC by JL, my very first business card ever. And if some of you have been hanging out with me for a while, or Karen, because she's in my life and so has seen me doing these crazy things for a flipping decade now, a Pretty by JL is a DBA of Pretty Bras for Nursing Moms, which some of you might notice that's still my PayPal is under that. Well, Pretty Bras for Nursing Moms is what started everything and what I set out to do originally was design nursing bras. And it's really interesting because I started writing about that yesterday and today in my book, which I even put in my book. It's uncomfortable because it's too close to present and it's something I'm working on, which it's interesting writing about things that are 10 to 20 years past of that many years creates kind of a nice cushion, and it doesn't even really necessarily feel like who you are anymore. And so one of the things that's a real challenge now is that since I've written all that's way behind me, now I'm coming, even though I was writing and been writing in real time while I also write about memories, the real time is the memories are catching up to real time, and that feels weird. And so I have to kind of tell myself with that to like the book's not going to be in anybody's hands to read for years probably. So even though it feels uncomfortable and current and recent and so super super sensitive and vulnerable and personal and all that stuff, it's like by the time it actually gets out there, I will be in a whole another place from here, and there will be more of a cushion than what there is now. And so it's okay. So little woosah. Well, so back in the day when I was designing, sketching nursing bras, I had one sample made of a design that was like a pump aid. Basically, it was like a sleep bra with a couple layers that would hold your breast pump in place, because I was not one of those people that could pump milk on demand. I could only pump milk when I was feeding my baby, because that was I could not force a letdown reflex to save my freaking life. Except for, which, and I wrote about this, all is weird. I didn't plan to write. It's weird what's coming out in my book, because like I'll think, oh, this and this and this and this. But then as I go with the flow of things, it's interesting stories that come up that I really didn't even intend to write about. So whatever, all of that's going to be what it is. And if you're not knowing what I'm talking about because you're new here, which I can't imagine anybody's probably watching that isn't, that's new, because they're wondering who is this crazy woman and what's she talking about? Why does it interest me? But anyways, I'm writing a book, and it's a memoir, which is pronounced, how do you pronounce memoir? Do you say memoir or memoir? I'm going to have to figure that out. I don't know what's right, and maybe it's like tomato. Don't know. Anyway, I'm writing one. And even when I tell people in my life that I'm writing a book, they're like, what in the world are you writing a book about? I'm like, well, we all have a book to write. So there. And memoirs. Thank you, Danielle. Well, no, she's laughing. So I had lunch with one of my favorite people of my life yesterday, somebody whom is a generation older. Her husband's was a professor. That's how you say it? You say memoir? Okay, well, that's how she said it. And she would be correct. And then I'm going around saying memoir. Whatever. Okay, so memoir. There, I just changed it. But that feels so weird. That's like saying croissant or croissant or something. I heard somebody order that the other day, a croissant, and I thought, I wonder if they've been to France or have some experience there, because I do not, and I say croissant. But okay, I'm gonna work on the memoir thing. Okay, so anyway, I'm writing a book. That's what I talk about. You guys all know. Everybody that's here knows that. I'm going to stop with it now. But back in the day when I was working on nursing bras, I wrote about that, like my whole experience, why I would care about a pretty nursing bra. I used to say Nutella. I didn't even know it was Nutella. Well, see, I said Nutella. I didn't know that either. I think I've heard Nutella and Nutella, and I had no idea. Well, you are a wealth of information to me today, and I've learned 2 new things. And when I was a kid, I had a crush on this boy. This is like when I'm like 16. Oh, it's on their website because it's a common mistake. Well, when I was 16, the neighbor next door, hi Katie, I loved him. I was in love with him. His name was Brian. He was 18. or 19 or 20, old and like out of high school. And he worked at North Shore, which was our skate shop, the skate shop in the mall. And I just thought he was so cool. And he drove an Audi. And I did not know how to pronounce that. And so I always pronounced it Audi. That's the car, Audi. And anyway, my dad let me go around pronouncing it incorrectly for years. And anyway, then somebody else corrected me. I don't know. Anyway, I said it wrong and I felt terrible. And then I was mad at my dad for like a while for not correcting me. But he was like, well, you were a know-it-all teenager. So I just let it go. So anyway, apparently I have like this thing. I have a very like 80s vibe going on with the wave in my hair today, I noticed. Anyway, it's kind of cool. And I tinted my eyebrows, the hairs. So they're just a little darker, a little bit of breakout happening. But anyway, I tinted the eyebrow hairs so they're not like shockingly neon white on top of my permanent eyebrow. Here we go, you guys. I take for freaking ever and blab on. But Danielle, thank you, Nutella, and memoir, which still I'm going to avoid saying that word, I think, because I just feel weird. Lactose intolerant. Didn't know it was. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, isn't that funny? All the things that we say incorrectly. Well, I'd wonder what your take is on the croissant. But, okay, so back in the day when I was working on nursing bras, because so I had this major problem I wanted fixed. Again, I like wrote about that, and it's weird going back there. I'm not going to go on about it now, about my experience trying to find a nursing bra and why a pretty one was important to me. And then, of course, the first sample, like I had this whole idea. I wanted to create a brand. Hi, Michelle. I wanted to create a brand that was like sold in Nordstrom of nursing intimates, basically, which I didn't even know Elle Macpherson Intimates existed back then, which someone pointed out. And then even though they pointed it out, I was already on this track, and you know how fashion, and anybody can have a line, like, you know, Elle Macpherson doesn't do it how I would do it. So I mean, surely I could still bring something to the table, that was awesome and unique. And of course I could. I wrote a business plan, wrote it at Fort Lewis College in the Leading Edge Entrepreneur Training course, and I won. I had best business plan. Bankers were wanting to be my bankers. I won $500 just for writing the plan. So that was cool. But so this is when True was like one. So this has been so long ago. And so you can see here how Pretty by JL is a spinoff of this is my original business card and the start to my logo. So even Pretty by JL is a DBA of this, which now that Pretty by JL is getting bigger and I'm growing and I have things I want to do with that, which hurts my heart a little bit with the bras for nursing moms, because I knew at the time that the reason that nursing bras stank is because it's such a short period in someone's life. Like, it's a big deal for a while, and it might be a big deal for a decade if people have kids and keep doing it. I mean, I breastfed what felt like a decade off and on because I have 3 kids. But overall, it's a blip of time in your life, and you just need what works and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I feel like a lot of the problems I was trying to address have been addressed, and I'm not in that place in my life anymore, so it doesn't feel as present and necessary and, inspiring to me, but it's still something that could happen later. Point is, I need to maybe change my LLC, whatever. That's a whole thing. Back in the day, though, when I was doing this work, I traveled to Colombia to check on manufacturing. I think some of you have heard this before. Then I decided, you know what? I need to do things. I need to be able to speak English to whoever is working with me, and I'd really just rather do it in the United States. Okay, so I learned that. Went to New York by myself when True, right after I weaned him, he was a little over 1. And I took a train to Connecticut and met with a designer, showed her my drawings, found out, just trying to, and I went to a gala. So there's that. You say, I used to think it was gala. I think it's gala. I changed my ways. Anyway, paid $400 for a plate for a dinner at this gala, and it was a really cool experience. But point is back then was right when things like Etsy, where things were people were starting to make things and sell them on Etsy. Like it was a thing where you could make something and sell a small quantity. You could sell directly to your consumer. It was right on the transition of that even happening. So the people that I met with were like, well, you need to make samples and you need to go to trade shows, and then you have to get, if Nordstrom's who you're after or whatever, like you need to be willing and able to fulfill whatever orders Nordstrom places. Anyway, it took a tremendous startup capital to design an intimate apparel brand. And the big thing was, you can't just make one thing and that's like the thing that you manufacture and sell. Anyway, things have wildly changed. I mean, people design and sell and make one of a kind bridal gowns on Etsy, right? And I mean, they probably I know someone specifically who lives in New York City and like that's their business and they do very well. So, I mean, the industry has changed tremendously. Back then, when I was working on this, I subscribed to Women's Wear Daily, and which is like a trade newspaper for fashion. And yeah, so anyway, that's what that is. And so I got one weekly, and I would sit in the yard with my coffee and I would read Women's Wear Daily. It was like my studying, and I would take notes and highlight things and circle things or just whatever. Well, so there was an article, and it was called Candid with, and it was Michael Kors, which, is a fashion designer. I actually don't know that much about him, didn't know that much about him, but the article was amazing. Oh, see, I'll get all sentimental and I'll like feel like I'm gonna cry, but I'm not. I'm not gonna. Okay. So, but I'm gonna read to you what it says because I felt inspired to clip out Candid with JL was what the point was. The point was that I read this article about him, but someday that thing that he was talking about, and I am gonna cry. Oh no. Was gonna be me. Okay, I'm ridiculous. Most of you know this. If you're new, my apologies, but it just is what it is. Okay, so there's this heading. It says, so there's this little bit, and I'll just read it. And then, oh my gosh, like, how does this happen? How do I spend so much time on these? But anyway, okay. Having the biggest IPO for a US fashion company. Okay, so he says, so biggest IPO. So this has to do with stocks and stuff, right? Which is just wildly outside of my knowledge and just whatever. But he's at a very different place, obviously. Okay, so he says, it beat my bar mitzvah, although as I was just about to ring the bell at the New York Stock Exchange, I looked down and saw my mother say, straighten your tie. And then he goes on to say, I love what I do. I certainly never planned on Paris or ringing that bell. If you keep your eye on the ball, you do what you do, and you do it well. So, and then there's a section that says, the takeaway. I truly believe that my legacy will be that you can have it all. You can be glamorous and sexy and feel comfortable in your own skin. Which I laugh because it's just sentimental for me, but like it was super in line with Pretty Bras for Nursing Moms and my idea behind nursing bras. So I mean in which I never launched the collection, you guys. Like, I never manufactured. I traveled. I have some samples, but I just never had the money to do it. And what happened then, somebody, and I don't even know if I'll talk about this. I need to write it. Anyway, people just didn't get it, what I was trying to do. And then this girl that I had worked with once upon a time, I ran into her. She was somewhere else, and she was trying to wrap her head around what I was doing. She was like, well, can't you just make some and sell them at the farmer's market? And okay, you guys, like, some farmer's markets are cool. I love farmer's markets. Don't get me wrong. However, we are talking about lingerie, intimate apparel, nursing bras that would be in Nordstrom. We're not talking about, and I don't want to use names, but it's, I mean, we live in Durango, Colorado town. I mean, it's a little bit on the natural side of things, you know, hippie-ish, if you want to say something like that, you know, whatever. But so the point, the idea of making some and selling them at the farmer's market was so absurd. And I gave her a look and said something. I mean, I'd heard that kind of thing so many times before. It drove me absolutely batty because I just felt like people around here, which is just, it's classifying people and it's not cool. So I mean, there's plenty of people around here that shop from Nordstrom, but like, there's not one here. So there's a lot of people who don't. But the point is that I said something, and and since I sort of knew her kind of decently well, I wasn't afraid to show like my irritation, I guess. And then she said, I'm just trying to think of something that you could make and sell to help you earn some money to develop them. Or, you know, and it wasn't those exact words, but that. And I was like, you know, I really appreciate that. Okay, thank you. That's fine. But so it's actually from her that then I started making silk braid. There are other elements that came after that led to what I do now, but I started racking my brain because it's like I didn't have $500,000 to invest in samples to take to a trade show just to gamble on any of that craziness. And I wasn't gonna take a risk of that kind. And you know, there was people that maybe would have loaned me money based on my business plan, and it was like, that's the craziest stinking thing I've ever heard. Anyway, so so it led to what you all know as Pretty by JL today, which of course is many, many years later. And I started very slowly, and then this started to take off, and it's, you know, and I'm not nursing anymore. So I'm like, ooh, I love the bracelets. I want to keep going with this. And it was something I could do from home. I didn't have to have it manufactured. I could do it with my own hands. I could start with a small inventory of silk. I could take orders here and there, you know. And have I earned enough to invest in the, you know, manufacturing an intimate apparel, you know, collection? No. But someday maybe I will, and maybe it'll be in time for my girls when they have their babies, you know. So maybe some of those ideas and dreams will come to fruition, but it's weird to talk about that now, or write about it, I should say. So, but so Pretty Bras for Nursing Moms by JL is the business name, and this is my first business card. And my like logo was, or my, not logo, my slogan was, love yourself, celebrate your body, and nourish your baby, which is so good. So good. Yeah. It'd be a fabulous business. I just haven't gotten there yet. And even though like my original thing I was going to make, like it exists now, and there's this whole thing. Like people can sign like that you show it to, and it's like they can't do anything with it for, like, if you don't manufacture it within 3 years or something, then it's sort of up for grabs. Because I was all into like copyright, trademark stuff, copyrights for writing and whatever. That's all just stuff. Hello, Heather. But anyway, so this Michael Kors thing like really struck me, and so I've been carrying around this Candid with JL, a first business card in my wallet for 7 years. Is that right? Yeah, because it has the date. June 8th, 2012. So anyway, so Candid with JL this is. So now you know the reason behind the name. And there's going to be just like 20 people. Someday Candid with JL might be just this giant thing with a lot of people. And you'll be like the only people who know why the name is what it is. So, okay. 2:35. I've got 3 more pieces to make today before I go to the bus stop to pick up the kids. So I'm not going to go on forever, and I am going to see if I can upload this to YouTube. I wanted to show you guys. Okay. I just don't know if I'm ready. I will. Okay. So this is the big thing I wanted to talk to you guys about. Danielle, as in Danielle of Flourish Leather, has offered to me that I can put my logo on Flourish snaps for my sets and my pieces. And the website, I'm working on a website. I'm going to leave Etsy up because the transition is going to be slow. I have a lot of ideas. There are a lot of things I want to do. The Pretty Kind campaign needs its own page. It needs its own form or something. Again, if you guys are new here, we've sent 50 gifts 2 or 3 months now in a row. The year before that, it was like 10 gifts a month. So we really just recently amped it up. It's very new, but I want to grow it big. So it will continue to be a part of Pretty by JL. I mean, if you've got to call it something, you can call it part of Pretty by JL's marketing budget, but really it's just good juju. I just love it. I love to do it. I love to sing it. I love to give things away. That's actually something with all the business stuff. Like, I have to get better with the accounting stuff, the money stuff. I'm trying to learn the things and do things the right way, which is why we can call the Pretty Kind campaign a marketing part of the marketing budget. Because you know what, you guys, I paid for an ad recently on Instagram. I'm like, I'm not doing it. I've not, and I will not pay someone to wear my pieces. I'm sorry. That's why I have reps who are real customers, like people who really wear Pretty by JL stuff and love it. I'm happy to give them a sales commission because it's real. The Pretty Kind campaign is real. You know, that I have such an issue, and it's not, I have nothing against any company that pays for advertising or an influencer or any of that. Maybe Pretty by JL will get to that point. But the way that my business model is going, like, I just sort of don't plan to go about it that way, and whatever. I paid for that ad to give it a try, and I certainly will not be doing that again anytime soon. Would much rather pay a sales commission to one of my amazing reps for wearing the stuff, shouting it out, sharing it. I mean, and really the reason behind that is the Instagram algorithm, because Pretty by JL's got 14,000 followers. It gets fewer likes on some posts than posts do on this page that have 500 followers. Business pages are not getting the same visibility. So I got reps that have normal pages, then you know, some of the people that care about Pretty by JL follow the reps. They see the stuff on the reps. They might not see it from me because the business page doesn't get seen the same. So whatever, just ideas. I mean, that's why that is the way it is. Speaking of reps, same reps that we have, which are in the bio at Pretty by JL, they are rolling over into next year. I've got some thinking to do, some communicating to do with them. This year's just been wonky. My kids are in school. I'm finally like working from full time from home alone for the second like week of my life for the past 10 years. So it's amazing. So there's just stuff to be figured out, but I want to do a rep roundup, and I think I want to take on 3 more in the new year. And so be keeping your eyes and ears peeled for that. Here in lives is where I talk about businessy stuff, not so much on the page, because that's more just fun stuff with my family and the Pretty Kind campaign stuff. So at Pretty by JL, I'll bring that up when it's time, and then in these lives probably. Yeah, because if you're interested in that, then there's a way to apply. And then if you're chosen, then you could get a 15% sales commission from people that purchase through you, Pretty by JL stuff. So that's fun. Okay, but anyway, so I can have a logo put on my Flourish stuff on the snap. So the FL that's there normally can be a JL. And so I'm going to see if I can pull this up on my phone to show you guys. And then yeah, good, cool. So here's the thing. I was wondering what your input is. I'm going to, I guess, have to post this to stories and take a poll or something. This middle one, which I can't cross out, but so the JL that's my signature and it's thin, that one for sure won't work. So Danielle says bolder, chunkier letters are better. So, and she likes, so the JL that are bulky. So I'm wondering what your thoughts are. Do you think it makes sense, or which do you like better, the JL to match my signature, which is part of my logo? So I'm leaning toward that very first one, but it would need to be thicker and bigger. She says that it just might come out hard to see. So I'm not wanting to do something that doesn't make sense. I'm just trying to stay in line with my branding. Okay, thank you, Heather. So the third one, I mean, what I was worried about with the blocky ones, and I don't know if this is cool or not. That's why I wanted to talk to you guys and just get your thoughts. It seems like a Flourish Leather ripoff. I mean, FL is what's normally there. And so JL is wildly similar. Like, does that really even make sense to put JL on there versus having an FL if we're going that route? So Becky likes the far right. So yeah, I kind of like that one too. But so do you guys know what I'm saying? Like about how the first one, this would only come from, people who have received my products would recognize that JL, the first one. Okay, so I mean, from the two, Heather and Becky, who have said something to me, okay, and that's, so Heather, the R thing, that's what I think that Danielle is talking about, is just that I think it will ultimately be clear to Pretty by JL diehards, but otherwise it just might be a little bit confusing. And I can see the R that you're saying. Okay, so I guess now, okay, based on your guys' feedback then, do you think that it even makes sense to have a JL on the snap when it looks so similar to Flourish Leather? Like, do you know what I mean? I mean, is that cool? So you do, Heather. Or does it just not really matter? I mean, we could do like my heart or something too. I don't know. So I guess I'll maybe put a poll up for the third or the fourth one, and then, okay, so Becky, you do like it too. Yeah. Well, so I think it's still her bracelets with your logo. It's the best of both. Yeah, and I agree. I feel like it's kind of cool too, because obviously anybody that's been on this part of the adventure with us knows us so well and makes that connection and thinks it's cool. Hello, Emily. I don't know if she joined by mistake, but one of the people of my life is here. So fun that you're getting to see this. If you're here and you're still watching, these are custom snaps for future Flourish braids that are part of my sets. So Danielle was thinking that my signature wouldn't really work because it'd be kind of illegible. It wouldn't do well. Hello. So Becky and Heather have given me some feedback. Say they like the third and the fourth. They each like one of those. And yeah, so now at least you've seen it. If you can't tell me now kind of what you think, like you can tell me later. But okay, so I'm going to move on because I need to make my 3 pieces for the day. Another thing, and my great friend Cecily is working on this stuff for me. I have 2 graphic designers, both amazing friends. One you'll hear me refer to as Chloe. One is Cecily. Cecily lives here in town, and she's been working on her own graphic design business for a few years because her son's in school. And so I meet with her regularly and she does a lot. So Emily says, I'm picking kids up, but I love 1 and 3. Okay, 1, okay. See, I feel like it needs to be my signature because I feel like that is what makes sense. But I like the feedback with 3 and that it would be okay. Like, it would be fun to differentiate between my braids, especially if I get to the point where I do more leather shopping with Danielle and have my own leathers that she doesn't offer to anybody else. I do plan on carrying a lot more Flourish stuff as I grow. So that'll be fun. Okay, I'm going to move on to this. Is the next thing I wanted to show you guys. The reason that there's a gray background is because it shows a die cut sticker. So I want to do a more official launch. I want to do a page or a section on my website that makes making a pretty impact clear, which I just noticed it says make a pretty impact. And our section it's called making a pretty impact. Making a pretty impact. So I need to have her change that. And then I also would have prettybyjl.com on the bottom and then maybe Instagram handle or something like that. But I would send the stickers with purchases of pretty impact pieces, in which making a pretty impact pieces are when somebody purchases those, I donate, Pretty by JL donates 15% of the proceeds to the charity of choice, and their each rep has a bracelet, which we only have 3. Do we have 3 right now? Yes, because Candace's is coming out soon, and then Erica, we haven't done hers yet. So I feel this year has been so wonky. I mean, you guys, I just think of things and then I try things, and then now with this whole, the website is a big deal because it'll be a place where it will have, I mean, Etsy's been great and I love it, but I can't have a section that really explains making a pretty impact, and like people are visual, and logos and graphics really help with that stuff, make that stuff clear. And then I'm chatting about this and that here and at Pretty by Gel. It's all just wildly confusing for people who just stop by and haven't been following along. So I want some of this stuff to be more clear for new people who come along. So what would your favorite sticker be, you guys? Which we'd have to make some changes. Well, I don't know. Making, because it's make a pretty, maybe, and then should it be make a pretty impact versus making, ing, a pretty impact? I don't know. I feel like make is like telling someone to do something, and making with ing is like, is letting people know that you are doing something. Does that make sense? Yeah, so making a pretty impact. Tell me if you have a sticker choice. Kind of like, we can't really see A, B, C, D, E, F. F is in the middle on the far right. The first one, okay, like that one, and bottom middle. Okay, not the one I just chose, but yes, I like that too. Okay. Well, cool. Maybe I will not maybe anything. I will post these to stories. Polls are frustrating in stories because I don't have a way to ask. Last I looked, making is current. Make reads as a pay it forward. Yeah, so Becky, what do you think? Making a pretty impact is what it is currently. Like, that's the section in the shop. And I like that current vibe. And then make as in pay it forward. I mean, I feel like both of them are positive statements. Do you have a preference on which one it is? anyway, with polls and stories, I don't think you can have, 9 options. I feel like if I post something like this, you have to actually reply to the story and I have to read the DM versus instead of, how when you do those polls where you can see a certain percentage of people like this one or whatever, I feel like we don't have multiple choice, like 9 options for a poll. But anyway, I'll have to look at that and see. So Becky likes both. I know, I do too. And then I kind of like what Becky said and like the make. Okay. So all kinds of things to think about here. I'm gonna have to I'll post it if you're receiving it with a gift. I really like make. Well, so they're not gonna go out with PKC gifts, which is the Pretty Kind campaign. So that's got its own logo and thing happening. It's going to go out with Pretty by JL orders where somebody ordered a Making a Pretty Impact piece. So it may or may not be a gift. You know what I mean? If you ordered it, Becky, which you have, I think you have all of the pieces. So I for sure owe you a sticker or 3 or 5. But so what if you ordered the piece for yourself and you received a sticker, which, and this is assuming anybody cares about stickers. If you're just trying to do something marketing wise that's fun. I like stickers because my whole family and I collect them on our water bottles, our Hydro Flask. It's sort of a thing. And then even my niece and nephew saw my water bottle, thought it was cool, got their own, started their own collection, and it's just sort of a thing. Every time I go anywhere with that water bottle, people notice it and all the stickers. It's kind of like a passport looking situation or something, and all the stamps. But they always comment on it and they love it. So anyway, why don't I'm not going to get on my phone right now, but here in a little while, I'll post these. I still like the idea as the concept of growing your brand, so I prefer make. Okay, I get it. So do you think make, but then still call it Making a Pretty Impact, like on the new website, yeah, because we are making a pretty impact, as in Pretty by JL, so I could have that be the header on the page or the section. The website's so confusing for me because I don't know that there's going to be a section, to the shop, but I want to have a Making a Pretty Impact page for sure, or something, or a section of some kind that gives information about it. Yeah, okay, well, let me know if you think that does or does not make sense. So I like what you're saying. I like that feedback. See, that's why I'm asking you guys these things. Cecily sent this stuff to me, and I was like, oh, good grief, I have no idea. How am I supposed to choose any of this on my own? So reps, writing. I talked to you a little bit about writing. Here, what about made a pretty impact? Yeah, that's a good idea. But then does that feel showboaty at all? I don't see any confusion between the two, but not a marketing guru. Okay, so maybe I'll talk to Cecily about that too. So I like made a pretty impact, but I feel like similarly to what Becky was kind of saying, she likes the call of action. It's like, let's keep thinking about it forward versus just a thing of the past. Like I gave money to a St. Jude telethon years ago for and the t-shirt that came with it said, "This shirt saves lives," which I loved, which is sort of like bragging about that you contributed. I never got the shirt. Never. That was years ago. I was so sad because isn't that bad? They did kind of sell me with the shirt. Like, I've given money to them anyways, but I still wanted that shirt. Anyway, okay, well, that's all good stuff to think about. I am going to take this away, and now I'm back. Writing, I'm going to just speak real quickly about it because I think I touched on it in my post last night, which I will read through the comments and comment for those of you that are doing something with me for 40 days. That's awesome. I have to get this first draft finished. It's really eating me alive that I've done so much work on it, and that yes, I have a lot of work still to go, but the only thing standing in between me and having the first draft done and me and having a New York Times best-selling memoir is just doing it, the work, and being persistent and consistent and doing the hard work. It's going to take work. And yes, I am trying to grow a brand and a business from home, and I've got the laundry to do and 3 kids and all the stuff. I said it in the post yesterday. I mean, and not for a second am I not counting my blessings, because I love a very, very, very large majority of my days and all the things I do. And yes, I get tired, and yes, I get frustrated, and yes, I get cranky. But overall, like, I'm living a life by design. And so, like, I talked to my friend yesterday, and she said, well, you are a success then already, and you are financially free. It's like, yes, I live in this little crappy house that has wasps under the siding and all of that, but it's like, I am financially free also in a different way. I mean, I don't have to answer to anybody but myself. Tell you what, myself is a tough one. So, point is, I started writing yesterday, wrote for an hour, wrote 1,000 words, wrote today. This is my new plan. I'm going to do it for 40 days, is my guess on how long it will take, but I'm going to do it every day until I'm finished. If a day comes along where, for whatever reason, I don't do it, guess what? I'm going to get up the next day and I'm going to do it. I'm in this space right now where I'm hanging on to a big fat zero negativity. I'm not beating myself up for things past. Dude, have you seen well, I've been watching you, Becky, living vicariously through you, and I cannot wait to see the beautiful blue finished project of your house. Like, it's amazing. But so everything about what was behind the siding of your house, like, we've got that, and then probably more. I am going to give you guys a tour sometime soon. I know I've been saying that for like a year. Yep, small houses, small mortgages, and that's true. And that's why it's like financially free in different ways. Like, it's all good. And I love my house in a lot of ways. Yeah. So, but I'm going to give you guys a tour soon of it, all of it, so you know what I'm talking about. You can see what we're up against. What was I saying about that? Oh, just the rest. So, I'm not, and I tell True this all the time, like, anything that has to be done today has to be done in the morning. You have to do the priority things in the morning, unless for some reason it's something that can only be done later in the day. And it's taken me forever to get to where I honor this, but I've learned it. I know it well. By the end of the day, A, either things come up, or B, I've lost all motivation and energy, and it just doesn't happen. So I can't save the important stuff for the end of the day. So I've just taken it to where, like, making things in my business and work, all of that's a wild priority. Like, that's my job, and I am my boss. Actually, somebody had texted me about paddle boarding. A good friend of mine, Amy, texted me about paddle boarding, and I had commented back and said, I don't know, I'll have to ask my boss and see if she'll let me. I'm like, I'm gonna just start blaming all the things I can't do on my boss, because it's a weird spot to be self-employed, you've been a stay-at-home mom, like you can go do things and it's like I want to see friends and stuff, but really honestly, like, hello, I can't. I am work and I set it up this way. Gabe doesn't like me to say that I have a job. And I'm like, but I do. Like, it's a big deal for me that I created a job for myself. Like, so I'm going to show up to it and treat it like a job because that's the only way I'm going to get anything done and continue to grow and just all of the stuff. And I'm proud of that. I think that's great. And I get to do it. I don't have to answer to anyone else. I am my boss, but I am my boss. So I have to hold myself accountable. Point though is kids go to school, they leave at 7:15. So what I'm doing until I get my first draft finished, and then it'll probably roll right on over into when I do my second pass, is I'm writing from 7:30 to 8:30, which is perfect because then I get to my desk before 9, and honestly, very seldom did I ever get to my desk before that anyway. So I'm just being very much more on task in the morning so that I've got mascara on, my hair is dried, like I'm getting ready for the morning. When the kids are getting ready for the morning, all of my morning things are done. They go to school. I write for 1 hour, 1,000 words ish, whatever. Then I can close my computer and I can start my work day. Because here's the thing with my work. This is one thing I wanted to mention to you guys. I gotta plug my computer in. Sorry, it looks like this QuickTime is draining the battery. Oh, sorry. Never a dull moment is there ever. I guess it's all perspective. It's wildly dull if you don't, who the heck am I and whatever. But otherwise, it's kind of exciting and fun. Okay. So, like with the fishtail price increase, I decided I'm not going to beat that to death with a stick any more than what I already have. They take an hour to make, so they're $60 pieces, and that's what they cost. But what I was thinking in conjunction with all of that, like as far as getting to lining out my work week now, looking at my orders on Sunday and my days and whatever appointments I have, and then knowing like, okay, I am making these pieces this day, these pieces this day, so on and so forth. And that's like why this week I'm working Saturday. I took the 3-day weekend, and originally I'd planned to work Monday. I didn't. My birthday was Sunday. I was wild and crazy. I took the 3-day weekend, but I have to work 4 days this week to stay on top of orders. And I'm grateful for that. No issue with that whatsoever. So I'm happy to do it. But I have to look at my schedule and see what I have, know how long it takes and what I can actually do in a day. And the reason that I've been working full-time for already at least a year, part-time years before that on this business, but with 1 to 3 kids at home always. Okay, 99% of the time. And here's the thing. So I was always working because I was trying to get done whatever I could get done when I could get it done. So there was it was completely blurred. I mean, I'd get up at 3:30 in the morning last year. Is that right? No, 4:20. Oh, it's varied, but from as early as 3:30 to staying up as late as midnight, whatever it took and everything in between in order to get my work done, and then work on whatever else I might want to do in addition to my orders. So I would work all the time because I was also caring for kids all the time. There was no separation between home and work, and it was all just like oil and water in like a lava lamp sort of a thing. So now that I have a very clear separation and I have a solid day, I have from about 7:15 to 4:15 a full day that I don't have to go anywhere unless I have to go to town for appointments or whatever the thing is. I usually have 1 day a week that I go to town, meet with somebody, whether it be a graphic designer, who I met with yesterday, Valerie. Her husband's a professor of writing, a writing professor at Fort Lewis, and they're both going to read my manuscript when it's time. So I'm just so grateful. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Now that I have a real chunk of time, I can separate work and home much, much easier, even though I work at home. So now it can be very clear what I can really get done. And of course, I can still put in as many hours as I want above and beyond that. But the goal is, like today, to walk to the bus stop in 1 hour. So, did I not even do, so I'm writing, but I'm writing in the morning. That's how I started. So, yeah, so I'm gonna write every morning. And then the whole publishing of my book and whatnot's gonna take years. I'm gonna have to put loads of work into that for a while, before it's time to pass it on to someone else. And then I don't know. That's the whole just process. I just don't know for sure. But the first thing I have to do is write the draft. But so 7:30 to 8:30 is perfect, and then I start working and I have a full work day. So, okay, you guys, I haven't been cut off. I'm going to post the snap designs and the stickers to stories later. Also, if you entered our giveaway at Pretty by JL, which if you're already following the Pretty Kind campaign, I mean, because you're here, be sure to go over there and enter that giveaway, because somebody's going to win an entire Ranch Life set, which is the 5 PKC bracelet options. So that's called the Ranch Life set in the shop at Pretty by JL. But so somebody's going to win one of those on Friday. We'll announce the winner. Yeah, and we'll chat more. We'll get together, and I have all the things I want to talk to you guys about. Message me anything. If you watch this, or there's any part that resonates with you, or you want to tell me anything whatsoever, please send a DM. I'm not going to post anything to stories right now. I'm not going to check any messages right now. I will be looking at messages at Pretty by JL this afternoon, adding them to the giveaway story highlight to make sure those entries are counted. But right now, I'm going to finish making, I'll probably get 2 pieces made, have to go to the bus stop, and then come back and make 1 more piece. Then I'll be showing those off at Pretty by JL, packaging them up, doing the things with the kids. Eventually, at some point, I will get on my phone and post this stuff. And then I would love your feedback for what your favorite sticker is, what your favorite snap is, whether you have a making or made a pretty impact preference and why, and then also your thoughts on the snap. Sorry, I'm pointing at them. I'm looking at them on my phone. They're down at the bottom. If you think the JL that looks like the FL, because it seems like that's the direction everyone's going, if you think that makes sense to do for Pretty by JL and Flourish Leather Co sets, or if it just, you think it doesn't really matter or make sense and you'd rather it stay the FL. So that's all. Now I am going to get cut off in a minute and a half if I don't get off. Cannot believe it's been an hour. I'm going to see if I can get this on YouTube. I'll let you know via stories if that works out. I can't imagine YouTube's going to like my hour-long video, but anyway, okay, good to see you guys. Thanks for being here. August gifts are being received. Thanks for making a nomination. September PKC form will go live this week at some point, so just watch my posts and stories, and I'll let you know when that's live. We're sending 50 gifts this month, so you can make a nomination every single month. Just ask that it's somebody new and that you only make 1 a month. And again, the website coming one of these days, all of that, the Pretty Kind campaign will have a home on a website, and it will be more than just an Instagram page and a Google form. But for now, we're still sending 50 gifts, and it's fun, and thank you for doing that with me. So, okay, bye guys.